Hello, welcome to For Pet's Sake. I'm Missy Tuttle. On today's show, we'll learn exactly what it takes to have backyard chickens. Next, we'll take a dip into fish ownership. Then we'll see your favorite pets. So let's get started. With more people trying organic foods, we've also seen an increase in people trying their hand at backyard chickens. Chickens will surely keep you supplied with fresh eggs, but they can also become family pets, right girls? If you're interested in chickens, we'll give you some of the basics. But remember, as with any animal, do your research before making the commitment. There are multiple reasons for having backyard chickens. It's not just about the eggs, which are outstanding. Chickens can provide a great addition to your compost pile. Their poo provides nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, which is more than horse or cow manure. It's also a great fertilizer for flower beds and gardens. Chickens will eat just about any bug they see. How's that for natural pest control? You may not be aware that chickens have great personalities, and if you spend the time with them, they may even cuddle with you, just like dogs. Now that you know the benefits of having backyard chickens, let's see what it takes. First, you have to find out if you can have them. Here in Tallahassee, you are allowed to have backyard chickens. However, there are some city ordinances you have to follow. Outside city limits, chickens are allowed to free range. But within city limits, different rules apply. Your run and coop need to be 20 feet from neighboring houses. You can have as many hens as you want and one rooster for flock sustainability. You also need to check with your homeowners association. They may have additional rules that you need to follow. In addition to ordinances, you have to make sure you have enough space in your yard. Chickens will need both indoor and outdoor space, also known as a coop and a run. Also, you need to keep them safe from predators. Raccoons, possums, skunks, coyotes, hawks, snakes, and even neighborhood cats could be a threat. The run should be 5 to 8 square feet per chicken, and you'll want screen or chicken wire all the way around, especially on the bottom where the predators can stick their paws through. You'll also want some sort of a covering. Here in Tallahassee, the sun can overheat the chickens and the rain can make this a mud pit. So you can either build it somewhere convenient like this or just build a roof on it. For additional insulation, you can even have plants growing on top of the roof. Keep in mind that chickens are foragers. They will scratch around for insects and eat grass and weeds. They'll also dig holes in the dirt for dust baths. Consequently, they'll make a dust bowl of the run. You can lay hay or pine shavings down, but you will still have to clean the run about every other week. One more thing, your chickens will be inside of this run for most of the time, so consider adding some playthings for them. Roosts, balls, a swing, or even a pool. Chickens are curious and might have a little fun. The younger they are when you introduce these things to them, the more likely they will play on them. Just make them safe. Now let's talk about the coop, which is the safe place they'll go at night. There are a few things to consider here. Ventilation is important, but make sure it isn't too drafty. For Tallahassee, windows that open and close are nice for our changing seasons. Make sure they have clean, soft bedding like pine shavings or pine straw that they can snuggle in. This bedding will absorb their waste and help control odor. You'll want to install roosts in the coop. Chickens generally prefer to sleep on the roost. It makes them feel safe to get off the ground. You will need about a foot of roost space for every grown chicken. While the chickens roost, they will poo. With new chickens, you will need to train them by putting them into the coop every night, and after a couple of days or weeks, they will start going in by themselves. Your coop needs to have nesting boxes, so your chickens feel safe laying eggs. These boxes will need to have soft bedding and kept clean. Until your chickens are old enough to start laying eggs, you'll want to block access to keep them out of the boxes. Your chickens will access the boxes from inside the coop, but remember to build them so you have access from outside to gather the eggs and keep the boxes clean. You should have at least one nesting box for every 4 chickens. Keep in mind, your nesting boxes need to be lower than the roosts, or the chickens will try to sleep in there. Now that we have a place to put the chickens, let's talk about what to feed them. The best feeders and waterers suspend off the ground. This keeps ants and other insects from getting into their food and also helps keep the chickens from kicking bedding and dirt into them. Depending on the number of chickens you have, you may need to get more than one set. You can buy chicken feed at most feed stores. Younger birds generally require starter or developer feed. Once they are older, you will choose food depending on whether they are egg layers or meat birds. You may need to add oyster shells or calcium to your feed for egg production. Since chickens don't have teeth, you can add some grit to their feed. Or you can purchase some scratch, which is a mixture of corn and grain and can be thrown directly on the ground. They will scratch and peck at it all day long. They use grit to break down the food before it gets to their stomach. Something you may not know is, chickens are great at eating leftovers. You can feed them a lot of different things as treats. For example, these girls love spaghetti noodles, cabbage, and oats. But do some research. There are things they can't have. For example, potatoes, avocados, apple seeds, and especially raw eggs. You don't want them to learn to eat raw eggs. Just try to keep their diets balanced. There are 2 main types of chickens: meat birds, which are primarily raised to eat, and egg layers, which are raised to produce eggs. Most backyard chickens are egg layers. And within those 2 types of chickens, there are many different breeds and sizes, and their eggs range from white to blue-green to brown. Just remember, you don't need a rooster unless you plan on hatching baby chicks from your eggs. Without a rooster, an all-girl or hen flock can keep you very well supplied with eggs. Chickens generally live 3 to 5 years and start laying eggs at about 20 weeks old. Chickens create a hierarchy. They will create a pecking order, literally, to bond with the flock. It's hard to introduce new chickens into a flock, so start with the number you want. You'll need to determine if you're going to start with grown chickens or chicks. Chicks are absolutely adorable, but they require lots of extra work, and you won't get eggs for a long time. You also don't know who is a rooster. So overall, having backyard chickens does take a little bit of work, but it is very rewarding, especially on that magical day when you get your first egg. And remember, after handling your chickens, their eggs, the coop, anything, make sure that you wash your hands thoroughly, as they have the potential to transmit salmonella. If you have any questions or are ready to start your research, there are multiple sources on the internet and in bookstores.
try parking. I want you to park on the right.
What kind of parking spot is that?
Oh, this is a back-end angle parking space.
How do I use it?
Pull past this space, turn on your blinker, and back it up.
What?
Yeah, you just back it up. Oh,
Okay.
Got it. You're backing it, you're backing it, you're backing it up. You're backing it, you're backing it, you're backing it up. Stay between the lines, you're backing it up.
Visit talgov.com.
Bike box. Get behind it.
I'm Audrey. I'm Abby. I saved Audrey from drowning right here in this pool. I was 5. I was 4. And thank goodness for Abby, she just reached in and pulled me up.
I'll never forget the two little hands connecting.
That was Abby's little hand. We learned a technique in swim class that the Red Cross did. If I hadn't learned aquatic safety from the Red Cross, I wouldn't have been able to save my friend that day. I'm very grateful.
Uh-oh, it's flashing lights up there. What should I do?
You should stop, look, and listen.
I said what?
You should stop. This is a mid-block crossing. When the lights are flashing, someone wants to cross. So we have to let the pedestrians go. We have to stop.
Okay, so you're saying I should stop. Crossing time. Oh.
Exactly. Or you
oh.
could stop in the name of lights before you break my heart. Think it over.
Visit talgov.com.
Thanks for staying with us. Now that we've had our fair share of feathers, let's check out some fins.
Fish can be great just because there are a ton of different varieties available. You can get different sizes, shapes, colors, whatever you want, whatever you desire, you can get in a fish in order to have in your tank and your home, which can be relaxing after a long day at work when you come home.
Fish can make great pets just based off of that they're easy. It's not something that you constantly have to watch and worry about. A great reason why people have fish is after a long day at work, you can go home and just sit there and look at the fish tank. Tanks are very, very relaxing. They kind of settle you down. All the little fish swimming around, all the colors, really helps people just kind of lay back and relax at the end of a hard day. Some of the things I hear with customers that come in that want to start a fish tank is basically horror stories of friends who have had them previously. A lot of people don't understand that it's not that much work, it's not that much maintenance. It's an easier way than having a dog, a cat. Now there are certain tanks that you can get into that are going to take more maintenance than others, but for the normal starter, it's not very bad. Well, there's two styles of fish. You have both your freshwater and you have saltwater. Within your freshwater, you have your basic tropical community fish, smaller schooling fish from South America, Asia. I mean, there's a lot of different areas in the world that have the smaller tropical style fish. Then you get into your South Americans, larger style fish, which again, they're from the same area where the tropicals are from, just they're a lot larger. A lot of people call them monster fish. They require larger style systems. They require different kind of feedings, more of a protein-based live feedings. And then you get into the African cichlids. In Africa, you have 3 different lakes. There's Lake Tanganyika, Lake Malawi, and Lake Victoria. Pros of freshwater is they're a lot cheaper. You have a lot of different styles to choose from as well. You can go with a small little 5-gallon tank and be able to load it with 7 or 8 nice little fish. Or you can have a 300-gallon tank and have 1 fish. Cons of freshwater, I mean, they're fish. They can die overnight from the smallest thing. From a heater going out to a power outage, and there's no oxygen, no filtration in the water, and you can lose everything. and then you can jump into saltwater. You have your reef fish, which are clownfish, tangs, certain angels, and you have predators, such as lionfish, pufferfish, triggers, eels. Pros of a saltwater tank is just the coloration on the fish, the variety that you get, and basically just the joy of having corals and being able to watch corals grow and watch the fish grow. And then you have your cons of saltwater, which cons of saltwater is basically, it's not a forgiving hobby. If there's a problem within the system, it needs to be fixed fast, or you're gonna have a huge die-off and you're gonna lose a lot of money. With the lifespan of fish, it depends on the style of fish that you're gonna get, and with that, it depends on your maintenance. If you're gonna maintain the tank correctly, you can have small fish live for 3 to 5 years. If you maintain a big fish correctly and give him the right size tank, he can live up to 20. And that is both fresh and saltwater. The way you're gonna choose the right fish for yourself is basically the amount of time that you have to give to that fish. It's still an animal, it's just like having a dog. You want time to make sure you have the days or hours in order to do your maintenance. You wanna make sure that you're home all the time so you can feed the fish. Testing your water all the time, making sure that you're topping off the tank so the water doesn't get low so you burn up your filter. And also it's gonna depend on how much the customer wants to spend. Again, that goes back into our cost thing. You can do a really nice little freshwater setup for under $100, or you can do a really nice saltwater setup for over $1,000. People that want to get into the hobby, and a big mistake that a lot of people make is not doing the research that they need for the correct fish for the style tank that they want to do. Getting a small tank and then buying a fish that's going to get too big. Another mistake a lot of first timers do is they don't do the correct maintenance. They get products that are not specifically made for what they're trying to do with it. They kind of just buy something bulk and say, hey, this is what I'm going to do, this is what I want to do, without doing the research for.
When you're decided that you no longer want your pet fish, you definitely don't just want to go and let it go in the streams and rivers here in our area. That is not a great environment for those fish. Unfortunately, the Tallahassee Animal Services does not accept fish. What we recommend that you do is contact the local pet stores in our area. A lot of times they're willing to take those fish from you and turn around and find them another home. So I would definitely recommend doing that. You can also utilize social media in attempts to find new homes for your pet fish.
Me and my dad started this hobby probably 12 years ago, 13 years ago. I was a little kid, just having fun. I've always liked tanks because of the fact that it is relaxing, and you get the joy of watching something grow, keeping it healthy, being able to correctly maintain something that is not supposed to be technically in a tank. But if you can keep them healthy and you can keep them happy, they do really well. When you originally get them, they're very skittish, but after a certain amount of time, they get comfortable and they start to remember people walking up to the tank. They remember color of the bottle of food that you're feeding them. I mean, that used to be my favorite thing, was when I used to come home with the bag of feeder fish for my Oscars, they came right to the glass and they were ready. Probably almost 100% of the fish in tanks, if you have them for long enough, they will get comfortable with you and they will realize when you're gonna feed, when you're gonna do maintenance, and they're gonna greet you every time you walk into the room.
Now, as you approach the upcoming roundabout, I want you to slow down. You have to yield to the other cars in the roundabout because they have the right of way. Now, once the coast is clear, you just ride on into the roundabout and go around until you find where you want to exit. Now get into the roundabout. Give it some juice.
This is fun! Visit talgov.com.
Hey, let me help you with that there, Sparky. Sparky the dog wants to remind you that when you change your clocks, change the battery in your smoke alarms. Speaking of which, when was the last time you tested the battery in your smoke alarm? At least once a month, push the button on your smoke alarm to make sure it's working properly. Remember, test alarms for life.
With the City of Tallahassee's mobile app, Digitally, reporting issues to the city is simple. See graffiti? Just snap a photo and send. See, snap, send. Visit the App Store or Google Play to download Digitally today.
I am here to save lives.
What happened?
He came from out of nowhere.
When people need help, I respond.
During a crisis, I remain calm.
She's got a head injury.
I am a 911 dispatcher, and you can be one too.
911, what's the address of your emergency?
The Consolidated Dispatch Agency has openings for public safety communications operators. Dispatchers earn nearly $30,000 a year with benefits, receive on-the-job training, and have a flexible schedule. If you want to save lives, visit talgov.com and apply.
What's that green thing on the road up there?
Oh, that's a bike box. They help prevent car and bike crashes. Stop at the stop line. As a driver, you simply get behind it. Oh, you see? Bike boxes help keep cyclists safe by offering them a designated space at an intersection. At bike box intersections, you'll need to remember that there's no right on red, unless there's a designated turn lane.
Is it hot in here?
Visit talgov.com.
Welcome back. We asked, you shared. Check out these pictures and videos of the friends that make you smile.
That's how you really feel? I thought you were done. Hey, did I tell you? Hey, get down. Hey, tell me how you felt about that bacon. Was it good?
Thanks for watching this edition of For Pet's Sake. And remember, stopping overpopulation starts by spaying or neutering your pet. For WCOT, I'm Missy Tuttle.
Thank you.